Hi there, Demetrius here from Nimbata. In this short demo, I'll walk you through Nimbata and show you how Nimbata helps marketers and sales teams capture, track, and attribute inbound calls. We'll start off with a quick overview of the dashboard, then I'll show you how call tracking works in practice, and finally, how you can use reports to optimize your marketing ROI. So, without further ado, let's jump right into Nimbata and show you how this works. For this demo, I've created this dummy site for a local plumber in Austin, Texas. So this is their website. It's pretty simple. The call to action is here. They have an office in Austin and an office in Phoenix. So they have two numbers that somebody can dial and book an appointment. Um, the idea with call tracking is that whenever somebody comes to your website, you show them a tracking number. If I refresh the page, you'll notice that the number dynamically swaps here. And if somebody dials that number, they get connected to your client or to your business. And then Nimbata, the script that runs on the back end, is able to capture the whole customer journey, telling you exactly where the caller came from, be that Google Ads, Facebook, any other campaign, and so forth. So let me show you how this looks like in the platform. So now we're logged into the Nimbata dashboard here, and I'm going to go straight ahead to the activity call section in the attributed calls view, and I'm going to select the plumber project I just showed you. And here we have, let's filter with last 6 months so we can get some data. And here we have three calls, right? So we have one call from Microsoft, one call from Facebook, and one call from Google CPC. So essentially, this is the view that we want you to see when you've set up Nimbata correctly, right? And it has three pillars that it sits on. It has the before, during, and the after. Let's look at the before the call. So this is where the attribution takes place. We know that the name of the person who called, their caller ID, and where they found out about us, right? So we know that the source is Google, the medium is CPC, the campaign is Austin Plumber's campaign. The keyword they typed was plumber in Austin, and then we also grabbed the GCLID, which is the click ID here of the specific ad. Now, in this specific case, you see test because this is a um, dummy code, but in real life, you would see the GCL ID here. This is the before the call. So now that we know exactly where the customer found us, there's an extra step that we can take in order to unveil what happened during the call. And this is by recording and transcribing the call. So here on the right, you're able to listen to the call, and you will also see a transcript of what has been said between the caller and the agent. On top of that, we can have the Nimbata AI parse the transcript and then provide a quick summary. I mean, if it's a 10-minute long call, you wouldn't want to go through the whole transcript or listen to the whole thing. You can read the summary and then find out exactly what the call was about. The AI will also pen some key notes here, right? The caller booked an appointment with the plumber due to pipe issues. The appointment costs 150. The caller seems satisfied with the arrangement. So I know exactly what the call was about. Also, the AI can tag the call based on the outcome. So the AI found that this call is actually a qualified lead leading to an appointment. It can also automatically populate the value because this was mentioned in the transcript that the service would cost around 150. So the AI automatically appended the value here. And the AI can also rate the call based on certain criteria that you set. The after is what we do with this data. What do we do with the GCLID? What do we do with the UDMs? Do we want to send this information maybe to the applications we use to advertise or to reporting applications? So in the next following, in the next minutes, I'm going to show you, first of all, how you can set up the platform to track calls and attribute calls back to the campaigns that drove them, just like we saw them here. That would be the before section. Then we're going to dive deeply into the workflows and AI, which is the during phase. And then we're going to look at integrations, which is the after phase, along with the reporting. So under tracking, this is where you would typically start. Through Nimbata, you're able to acquire phone numbers, and Nimbata will ask you which types of visitors you want to track. Now, you have a couple of options here. You could either track all visitors from the website and then have Nimbata do the attribution for you. So everyone coming on the website will see a unique phone number, and then Nimbata will attribute the call to organic, Google Ads, Facebook, and so forth. Some clients don't want to track all calls, but they want to limit their tracking to specific channels like paid channels. So only track calls from Google Ads, and you can go here to specific online channel. online paid, click on next, and then again, select, I only want to track calls from Google Search and Display, or I only want to track from X, or I want to track all paid partners Search and Display, and click on next. And here's where you acquire the numbers. You can choose between local or national ones, toll free, how many numbers you want, find the state, and then the prefix of your choice, and also pick from a list. So essentially, once you add the numbers, it will look something like this. Remember the plumber example we showed? I have two tracking numbers swapping for the Austin destination, and I have two tracking numbers swapping for the Phoenix destination to everyone on the website. So it's all remaining. And I also have two numbers which I've placed on the Google listing, one for the Austin and one for the Phoenix campaign, right? So these are statically placed on the Google listing. Now, before I can start showing these numbers, I need to make sure that whoever dials them gets connected to my client or to my business. And that's where the call flow comes into place. So the call flow is essentially how you treat the caller experience. You can either start from scratch or from a template. We can start with a simple call flow, let's say, use a template. And then you can tell them about it. You know what? Whenever somebody calls my tracking number, simply route the call to Smith. Smith would be your client. Now here you have a couple of options. You can make this as detailed as you want. So you have the option to record the call, add greetings, add keypad entries, route by day of week or time of day, and also add a whispers or route this to voicemail or add a call survey. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep a simple call flow. But if your business relies on more complex call flows, you can take a look at our website and our guides, and you can see exactly how you can add whispers, greetings, keypad entries, different trees. Here you can split paths and have different routing options and so forth. So let's keep this simple. Head back to numbers, assign the call flow we just created to the numbers. So the Austin one, Austin numbers, route calls to Austin, and the Phoenix numbers, route calls to Phoenix. Now the last step is to tell the code which numbers to swap. And here we need to copy and paste the number as is displayed on our website here, and that would be the swap target. So essentially what this tells the script is whenever you find this number on the website, swap it with the two Phoenix numbers. Whenever you find this number, swap it with the two Austin numbers, right? And a couple of more options here. Ability to choose between first click or last click attribution. If I'm running server-side tracking, I can enable this. I can use custom cookies, tell how many days you want the cookie to last, and then more advanced options depending on how you want the script to behave. But essentially, once you're done, you click on Publish Script, and then you include this line of code either through Tag Manager or through WordPress or directly in your website's code. What this will do is this one here. So again, I'm going to refresh the page, and you'll notice that the script dynamically swaps the number during my visit. And I can see this even under the call now button. If I had a number beneath here, the number would also swap and Nimbata would track it. Now, let's take a look at the workflow. So let's say that you've enabled the script, numbers are swapping, you're viewing the attribution, you can see exactly which campaigns are driving calls. We'll go through this in the reporting section as well. But before you do so, you want to enable the during phase. What happens while the call happens? And here you can use Nimbata workflows in order to enable the Nimbata AI. You can either do so by creating a new workflow from a template and use the AI call analysis. I've already created this one for this account. And what this will do is it will create a call flow where after the call ends, the call is transcribed. We offer transcription for more than 70 countries tested by clients. And then as an action, you have the AI tag the calls, and you can choose which tags to include here. We have some pre-default tags based on sentiments, based on the outcome, but you can also create your own, like the lead gen tags I've created here, and then prompt the AI on what to tag based on specific business outcomes. In a similar fashion, you can tell the AI to rate the call from a scale from 0 to 5, depending on criteria. You can tell the AI to keep notes, and then again, prompt it to make it more detailed, and also calculate the value. So if you know that specific services cost a certain amount, you can instruct the AI whenever the destination mentions, okay, we're going to book an appointment for X service, and you tell the AI that, the X service costs Y amount of money, you can prompt it here, and then the AI is smart enough to append that value for you. So that would be the during phase. And once you have the Nimbata AI tag the calls for you, append the nodes, once you have a good view of your data, it's a matter of sending that information back to the tools you use in order to advertise, or your client CRM, or even send an email notifications, or if you're more technically advanced, use the webhooks, the API, and so forth. So Nevada integrates with a lot of tools. I'm going to show you as an example how you can integrate with Google Ads. So with Google Ads, you connect your account, you create a conversion in Google Ads. The conversion could be phone calls, or if you're interested in sending calls with specific attributes, can have a different name. And then once you set up the connection, Nimbata will use the Google Ads API and will shoot back the G-clids back to Google Ads in an automated fashion, right? So you connect once, and then Nimbata will send them in the daily routine. In order to do so, you need to always pair your integration with a workflow. So heading back to workflows, you would need to create a workflow that instructs Nimbata which calls to send back to Google Ads, for example. So I'm going to use this template here for Google Ads, and I'm going to select the conversion I just created, which says that, once the call ends, send all calls that have a G-CLID back to Google Ads, this conversion. Now, if I want to make it more detailed, I could add a filter here and say, I only want calls that are greater than or equals to a minute. So this is a sort of filtering out non-quality calls based on the duration. I could also add an additional filter. If the AI has tagged the call as an, let's say, qualified lead, and it's over 60 seconds, then send to Google. Or I could use the or logic. So if the call duration is greater than or equals to a minute, or the AI has tagged it as a qualified call, then and only then send to Google Ads. Now, these workflows can be very, very detailed. You can have more paths added here with different conditions, right? You can have true or false conditions. So if it's true, do this, but if the condition is false, do that, and so forth. So the workflow would run, and it would send the conversions, or it would connect to the integration you connect with the workflow the way you set it up. And the trigger could be once the call ends, once the call starts, do this. If a form is submitted, do this. If an SMS is received, do this. If somebody populates the activity call section, do this, and so forth. Now that we covered the integrations part and the workflows part, I want to show you a little bit of what reporting looks like. So first of all, I'm going to go back to where we started. These are called activity call views, and these are more detailed views of your calls, right? Each row here is a call. You can expand it, and you can view more information about the call. If you prefer, you can have an Excel-like view of the data like this one, where you have all the information under your view. So under the all call views, I'm going to grab data, let's say, for the last 6 months. And here I will be able to view all information about my calls, uh, who called, their name, the outcome, the date, the time, the duration, how many times they've called, which number they dialed. And as I scroll further to the right, this is where the attribution takes place. So this came from these specific UDMs. If I have an IVR, the digits pressed by the caller, the country, the state, the city, any notes kept by the AI, the page they called from, the landing page, the G-CLID, and more information that I haven't included here. So you can see there are more than 50 fields here. If I have custom cookies, information from custom cookies or from URLs, I can also include them. If I'm more advanced and I want the session IDs from Google Analytics or the CID, I can also include this one here. So the activity call section is configurable. You can configure different views, right? You can set which columns you want to show. You can edit the settings and then save this as a view and share it with your clients. But there are also some pre-built reports that you can use, like the tracking source here. So let me again grab some data from this demo account. So I'm going to filter here, and the reports will start populating. You can segment this by UDMs, source, mediums, campaigns, tracking numbers, and channels. You can see here that I have 4 calls from Google Ads call extension, 2 from Google My Business, 16 from the website. But then I can segment by UDM source medium and get a more detailed view of which um, sources are actually driving calls. Missed calls report, again, if you have any missed calls, you have them here. This specific plumber has answered everything, so there are no missed call reports. And then call outcomes, what are the busiest times and dates? If the person is picking up, what are the best times, and if they're not picking up, why they're not picking up. Maybe they're busy, so the plumber's busy during the time and she's not answering calls. So there are more than 70 reports to choose from, and we have something called a customizable dashboard here. So again, let me filter and grab some data on this dashboard, and this is the dashboard that you would use, that you could share with your client or you could share with your teammates, because it's fully customizable. You choose which reports are shown, and you can present this either to your client or have your client log in and view these reports in real time. So the way this works is you click on add, you find the reports that are more meaningful for you, missed calls, hourly, by UDM source. You add this one, you remove the other ones, you rearrange, you resize, and then you have a real-time dashboard that you can share with your clients either by exporting to PDF, setting this as a default to all of your clients. You can set it up one time, and then under these would be all of your clients here. Under all clients, you can have the same structure, or even invite your clients with a different role, strip out all the setup menus, and then only have the analytics dashboard in the activity call section, so they log in and view this information. Now, as I mentioned, Nimbata works with multi-client perspective, meaning that you can have, if you have multiple websites, or you have multiple occasions, or you have multiple clients, you can create something that we call projects. So each project will have their own setup. It will have their own set of tracking numbers, their own set of destinations, call flows, integrations, workflows, and so forth. The last thing I want to show you is some neat tools that we have in place, typically for people in marketing that want to have 100% attribution. So under Google Analytics, there's this check pull button where you sign in with your client's GA4 account, and then Nimbata will be able to pull visitor information from your client's account and determine how many tracking numbers you need to add to your account in order to have 100% attribution, right? So this fetches visitor data. It's able to calculate how many concurrent visitors your client has at any given point in time and recommend how many tracking numbers you need to add to your website, making sure that every visitor on the website sees a unique tracking number to have 100% attribution. So in this specific example, if I were to track only Google Ads, I would go to paid search, and the application recommends 2 tracking numbers in my account, just like I have done here for the local plumber. So 2 tracking numbers for Austin and 2 tracking numbers for Phoenix. That's more or less in a nutshell. If you want to learn more information, we do have videos on our YouTube channel, a lot of information on our website, but also always happy to connect with you and show you in person. Have a great day.